broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hi, this is Bruce Lipton. I'm on Extreme Health Radio with Justin and Kay, and I just want to say that I so appreciate this opportunity because we have a wonderful show ahead of us.
Kate, I caught you over there doing a little shoulder shrug over there.
If only I could stand up, you'd get a full range of motion dance. It is so not dance music, but something about it just makes me want to like...
You're doing a little shoulder.
A little shoulder dance.
A little shoulder dance.
It's a happy dance.
Like the Saturday Night Live head bob thing they do.
Totally.
In the club.
But so much better.
So much better. This is going to be a fun show. We have Liana Werner-Gray on the show today.
Yay.
And we had the awesome opportunity to meet her the other day at the Hay House...
I Can Do It.
I Can Do It conference. That's correct. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, I wish we would have had more time with her, but it was one of those things, and we at least got to hook up with her for a minute.
Yeah,
so.
that was super, super cool.
Well, I'm excited to be on the show today with her, by the way, because I wasn't able to be on the first time we had her on.
That's right.
I hadn't joined Extreme Health Radio yet.
What was the date? We had her on November 9th, 2012, episode 37.
Oh my gosh, so almost 2 years ago.
Almost 2 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Episode 37.
Wow.
Yeah, you weren't on that show, were you?
I don't think I joined until the 70s, right?
Yeah, 70, 75, somewhere around there. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome show. We have a really cool little book deal that we're going to tell you guys about at the end of the show, so hang on till the end that we've worked out with Liana. I just want to let everyone know, first of all, this show is brought to you by the Bellicon Rebounder, and if you guys are looking for an amazing rebounder machine, I believe we found the best one, and they're running a fall promotion right now. If you get orange bungee cords.
Nice.
How about that? Orange bungee cords for the fall season. You got $50 off your order.
Nice.
So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon, you can learn how you can increase your bone density, cleanse out your lymphatic system, and do a cellular exercise. It's really great.
Is that for all of fall or just October?
I don't know. We'll have to look. We'll have to look at that. So extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon if you want to check that out. And if you guys would like to support the show and you do a lot of Christmas shopping and want to go through our link on Amazon, you can do that, extremehealthradio.com/Amazon for any of your holiday-related purchases. That would be a great way to support us. And we do broadcast live 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific, but we are dropping down to only Monday and Friday coming up here pretty soon. So that will be happening next week, actually. So this is episode 336. And like I said before, we had Liana Werner-Gray on episode 37 back in November of 2012, and she is the founder of the Earth Diet, and she's written a book called The Earth Diet. She had a really, really incredible healing in her own life. She grew up in Alice Springs, Australia, so she's a kindred spirit, right, in Australia, and so she had a profound healing in terms of being able to heal from these pre-cancerous tumors that she had. And so since then, she's been traveling in 33 countries all over the world, recently launched her book, The Earth Diet, so it's an honor to have her on the show. Thanks so much, Liana, for being on today.
Oh, thank you so much, Justin. Thank you, Kate, for having me on. It's good to be back here, 2 years later. And wow, that time went really fast.
Oh, time just flies, doesn't it? It's just amazing.
It is amazing. It really is. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited for the show today.
Do you find time is flying by a little bit more quickly for you these days because you're involved in so many fun projects, or...
Yeah, it is. I get to the end of the day and I'm like, whoa, so that happened, and that happened all in one day. And yeah, it really is speeding up. And I mean, there's so much we can accomplish in one day. It's really, really awesome.
Hey, I want to let everyone know about your radio show. We were just talking about it before the air. For those that don't know, Liana just got off her own radio show, and that's over at hayhouseradio.com, and it's every Thursday at 11 Eastern and 8 Pacific. And you were telling us today that you gave away a, what was it, a juicer or blender or something?
Yeah, a juice machine I gave away today on the show with Drew Connolly. And yeah, so every week on my radio show, we just love to give out different gifts and prizes to people, you know, healthy products like a Vitamix or a juice machine or a VitaCost voucher to buy some organic ingredients or chocolate or like a greens powder. It's just so much fun to give away healthy products to people. And yeah, it just really makes their day.
That's so fun. Drew was on our show a while back. He is the king of giveaways, isn't he? He's so funny.
Yeah, he is. He is the king of giveaways. And he was so amazing on the show today. He's just so inspiring and empowering. And I love how he coaches people.
Yeah, he's awesome. I ran into his stuff a while back. And is he still doing the weekly or daily videos on his website?
I'm not sure about the daily videos. I know he's doing like a strategy Saturday. So I was on that last Saturday and we gave a 3-ingredient detox tea recipe. So yeah, I think he's doing it weekly, but I'm not really sure. I mean, people can just find out from Facebook.
That's awesome. And so your weekly radio show is every Thursday. Did I get that right? 11 a.m. Eastern? Exactly.
Yes. Every Thursday, 11 a.m. at hayhouseradio.com.
That's awesome. And you take live callers and things like that?
I do. That's the most fun part of it for me is just taking callers and, you know, having conversations about health and answering specific questions and giving different health tips and tools. I mean, that's essentially, I think, what all health coaches are, is just like a walking, talking encyclopedia of all these health tips and ideas and recipes. And then we just give people some of those ideas and they can take it or leave it, you know, whatever works for them.
What are some of the, sort of main questions that people have for you? Is it sort of health motivation questions, or do you get a lot of people asking about how to heal specific things, or what are people coming to you these days for on the show?
Well, what's common is people are asking how to heal specific things. So anything from, you know, cancer or disease or diabetes, osteoporosis, all types of cancers. And then also people want to know how they can end a sugar craving. That's a really popular one. That's probably the most popular question is, how can I get rid of my sugar craving or my junk food addiction? And I love getting those questions because that's something that I overcame in my own life. So I can really give some helpful tips and tools on that subject.
That's really cool.
Yeah, we get a lot of people writing in about that sugar thing too. It's quite the big deal, isn't it?
It is a big deal. A lot of people are addicted, and, you know, we consume sugar for so long when that whole convenient fad started. I mean, that started before I was born, but then, you know, our parents and stuff were addicted to sugar, and then we became addicted to sugar. So, yeah, it is part of our revolution at this point.
Mm.
Yeah, that sounds like a real issue that most people would have, because even though if certain people aren't healthy, most people are addicted. Most people are always addicted to these processed sugars, and not only that, but carbohydrates as well.
Yeah, which converts to sugar in the body, right? So when I was addicted to sugar, I thought I would never be free of it. I accepted, like, okay, for the rest of my life, I have to suffer because I'm addicted. And as soon as that craving hit me, like, oh, I have to have gummy bears or chocolate or cookies, then it was like, okay, well, I have to go get it because I'm not even going to try and fight with that craving. It was just way too hard to battle with the craving. So I would always just go give in and get that junk food.
Well, for those who don't know, you had quite an incredible health journey yourself, and in terms of healing from a precancerous tumor. And most of our listeners, and your listeners too, probably know that cancer is something that feeds off of sugar. So it would make sense that you had those cravings. What are some things that you tell people? How would someone overhaul their diet if they have a really bad sugar addiction?
Well, I mean, I did it with the Earth Diet, and that's why I created the Earth Diet because, you know, I did start off to be a really healthy kid, and, you know, some people say, well, if you were so healthy as a kid, you know, why did you get sick? And it's because when I was 17, for 5 years, every single day I started to eat junk foods, you know, refined flours, refined sugars. And you're right, Justin, like, I was not surprised when that just like the precancerous tumor just popped in my throat. I was not surprised I was having health issues because I knew I'd poisoned my body every day for 5 years, and, you know, we can't get away with that. And so once I decided, okay, I'm going to heal myself naturally, I knew I would have to go back to nature and start putting nutrition back into my body. And I thought, well, how on earth am I going to do that since I'm so addicted to sugar and junk foods? And so I thought, okay, if I create a blog and I call it The Earth Diet, and I'll do it every single day for a year, and I'll only eat foods that nature provides, and then the blog will help me stay accountable, and, you know, I'll have some readers, I'm sure, that will also help me to stay accountable. So that's what I did, so that I wouldn't go back to my junk food ways, because I was really scared that, you know, I wouldn't be able to resist the craving. But I thought, if it's not just about me and there's other people part of my journey, then, you know, and we do it together, then I won't go back to eating junk foods. And the Earth Diet really helped to stay away from the junk foods and sugars. And I just replaced my favorite sugars and junk foods with natural ones. So in the Earth Diet book, there's recipes for chocolate and cheesecake, cakes, cookies, dessert pies, and so I don't deprive myself of those things. I have them in my life every day. You know, I make it work. And so now I don't crave junk foods, which is so surprising to me, because years ago I thought, wow, I'm forever going to crave junk foods. So, you know, in a nutshell, I did it with the Earth Diet.
So interesting.
When you first committed, Liana, to, you know, going that route and adding in, you know, unprocessed sweets and things that still basically satisfied your craving without getting the sugar, did you go through an emotional detox at the beginning? I mean, even though you were getting these foods that you still felt like were a treat of sorts, was it still kind of sad, or did you go through a lot of up and downs at the beginning of seeing that sugar leave your life?
You know, I was more sad about, like, wow, I wasted 5 years of my life, you know, poisoning my body, and I had some guilt around that, and I had to, you know, let go of that to move on. But mostly I just felt relief. I felt relief that I wasn't craving junk food and refined sugars again, and my body, you know, did do a detox. But because I was on the health path, like, I just was moving forward that direction, the momentum was building, and so I just felt relief, and I felt really happy to know that I was going in the right direction. So it was actually easier to leave behind the sugar than I had thought.
Oh, that's interesting. That makes sense. Yeah.
So for people that don't know, you know, I'm not much one for labels and things like that, but if you were to label the Earth Diet, is it I know it's more earth-based and nature-based recipes, but if someone is listening, are they thinking that it's like a raw food kind of thing, or a paleo, or is there a sort of a combination of amalgamation of everything?
Yeah, that's a great question. It does encompass everything that Earth provides naturally, and that's the general rule. So it's just about people focusing on nature and everything it provides. And so I do have raw food recipes as well as paleo recipes, but it's not as restrictive. It's saying, you know, if Earth creates it, then it's here for our well-being. And so just to focus on everything that the Earth provides. And the Earth does provide us with an abundance. And there's literally everything here that we need to nourish our body and to make sure we're getting all the essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients. And also the Earth provides everything we need to heal ourselves as well.
That's so true. Yeah, I would imagine with the sugar cravings, it's such a problem for people, because they know, like you said, they know when they're doing it. They know when they're eating horrible food. And I'm sure you've seen, I think there's a documentary, Sugar, the Bitter Truth, and then there's a great lecture on YouTube. I forget what the guy's name is, but sugar, it's such an inflammatory thing, and it really is involved in the disease process for just about everything, isn't it?
Yeah, it weakens our immune system immediately. It's so poisonous and dangerous. It's crazy how something that's so processed could be so dangerous for us. But yeah, it does weaken our immune system and makes us feel bad, and we get that sugar high, and then we get the sugar crash, and then our emotions are affected and our mind is affected. And yeah, it's really a vicious cycle.
Yeah, I agree, Liana. For a while there, I was liking my red wine a little too much, and every time I would have a glass, I mean, within 10 minutes, I'd be bloated out to no man's land. And yet I'd say I'm never doing this again. And the next day, I mean, talk about an addiction, probably both alcohol and sugar, but you'd find yourself doing it again. And so when I gave that up, I know what you mean. It's like at the beginning, I kind of went through a little bit more of an emotional, like, oh, I can't have my glass of wine that I look forward to when I'm cooking every night. But the effect that I started to feel from feeling good for the first time in a long time in my body was worth, like, I hear you when you said that the adventure of feeling good is so, it far outweighs the cravings. But to get to that point, it's quite a battle for people, for sure.
Yeah, it is a battle. It really is a battle, I find, until people go, okay, I'm going to go back to nature. I'm going to eat natural foods and live a natural lifestyle and just put nutrition back into my body. And I think that it does give people relief when they think, okay, if I want to have alcohol in my life, or if I want to have chocolate or cheesecake or cheese or burritos, I can have those things. I just have to make it work into my lifestyle. Because I think as soon as people think they have to deprive themselves of all of that, they don't even try, or they don't even start. They're like, no way, I don't want to wake up miserable every day because I can't eat my favorite foods. So it's about enjoying our absolute favorite flavors and tastes, as well as finding a way to get nutrition from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I would imagine with a lot of the people that you talk to and work with, it's a matter of changing their mindset, because people, when they think of diet or the earth diet, or they see that word, they think immediately restriction. Oh, I can't have all the foods I love. But I would imagine that you would have to work with people in terms of having more of an inclusionary mindset and saying, okay, here's my food. Here are the foods I'm addicted to. How can I work this into my diet? And it's a complete shift, because they're thinking that you're going to say to them, oh, you can't have ice cream, you can't have cookies, you can't have cake, but you can if you just get creative.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, what do you want to eat? Well, what's your favorite thing? Cookie dough. Okay, so let's find a way that you can get nutrients from cookie dough. So how about we make it with some almond meal and some vanilla, a little bit of real salt and some cacao nibs and a little dash of vanilla, and then try it. And then people are either like, wow, I love this is amazing, addicted, and now that's their new cookie dough. Or they're like, I'm not really liking this, I just need to tweak it a bit. And then so, people can tweak it until they find where they really, really love it and enjoy it. And, even people that are really addicted to junk foods, I've made them recipes like the chicken nuggets or the chocolate, the cookie dough, the cheesecake. And most times they have no idea that it's actually healthy for them. And when I tell them, that you're getting a lot of nutrients from that, they're like, what? And so it just opens up a whole new world for people.
Yeah, that's so true.
Do you think a lot of people are a little bit turned off maybe to the time it takes to invest in making recipes that are good for you? Because I know like a cheesecake, a regular cheesecake conventionally you can kind of throw together, whip up some stuff and refrigerate it. But I'm sure with like more of a raw based or a cheesecake that might actually be beneficial and healthy for you might take a long time. Do people have to kind of recalibrate their value system in order to feel better?
Yeah, a little bit. There is definitely more about saying, okay, I'm going to spend more time on myself. I'm going to spend more time taking care of myself. I'm going to allocate more time to make myself fresh foods. And that is a whole lifestyle shift for people. But, that is really important. But in the beginning, if someone is living a busy lifestyle, it's more about getting as much as they can in that's possible with their lifestyle. And then eventually time seems to open up, or they prioritize time differently, or they're just more energized that they're not having to work as many hours, so they do have more time where they can prepare fresh foods for themselves. But a lot of the recipes in the Earth Diet book actually are 15 minutes or less.
Oh, wow.
They're really simple, really quick to make. The cheesecake is basically just, whipping up some cashews in the Vitamix and then putting that in the freezer. So very, very quick, and people would be surprised, how a healthy lifestyle is not as time-consuming as they think.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea of 15 minutes or less. A while back, I was reading this book by Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad, Poor Dad guy. And it was really interesting because he was talking about people and their conversations and their languaging and things. And he would say to restructure your language, because he was always talking about money and finances and things. And he would say he would overhear people saying, oh, I can't afford that, or I can't afford this. And he said one of those things that he did was he retrained his brain, and his wife and him would never say those words. He would say, or they would say, instead of saying, I can't afford it, it would say, how can I afford it? And so, you know, that's kind of like what you're doing with the recipes. Oh, I can't have cookies or pasta or cake or whatever, but how can I have this in a more inclusive way and make it healthy? You know, I think that's really a great way to, you know, think about that. So what are some of your tips for people that want to use like sugar alternatives, like
good question,
stevia and all that kind of stuff? Are you fans of those things?
Yeah, I'm definitely fans of natural sweeteners, and there are many of them. And one that I do write about in the Earth Diet book is dates. And dates are, you know, they come in the whole form, and they're probably the most whole natural sweetener that we can use because they are in that whole form. You know, a date is a date. And they're very, very sweet. And then they can be made into a lot of things. So there's that. Then there's also, you know, maple syrup. Then there's honey. Then there's agave. You know, there's some controversy around the process of it. But, you know, the process with honey, maple syrup, and agave isn't as deadly as, say, refined white sugar. And then, of course, there's a stevia as well. So those are some great sweeteners that people can replace. And also I found that people that are coming off processed refined sugar, they'll have to do a lot of like dates, honey, maple syrup, agave in the beginning just to wean them off. And then eventually they seem to find this balance where they're not craving as many sugar or sweet foods as they used to. And the body will eventually come back to that balance.
Yeah, I've been. I've definitely had that experience in my life where I've definitely craved less sugar, and I've been a fan lately of the green leaf stevia. Have you ever worked with that?
You know, my body doesn't particularly resonate with stevia, although, you know, I do recommend it to clients. But I do prefer to use, you know, dates, honey, and maple syrup. Those are my three choices of sweetener. So that's another thing, too, is that I say to people, you know, only eat things that you want to eat. If you don't want to eat cookie dough just because it's healthy, you don't have to eat cookie dough.
No one forces you.
This is awesome stuff. We're with Liana Werner-Gray. This is episode 336. We're going to take a little bit of a break right now, but we do broadcast live. Let's see. Well, should we say, 4 days a week this week, but next week.
We'll say it.
Yeah, next week, and the subsequent weeks will be 2 days a week on Monday and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you guys would like to check out her website and check out some of these recipes and things like that, it's called theearthdiet.com, and we'll put a link in our chat room so you guys can check that out. And at the very end of the show, we're going to tell you about a deal that we've worked out with Liana. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be right back with Liana Werner-Gray right after this. I wanted to tell you about this really powerful and unique product called the Q Laser. Did you know there's over 2,500 peer-reviewed clinical research studies showing the benefits of low-level laser therapy on the body? We had Dr. Larry Lytle on episode 165 talking all about it. Dr. Lytle, what is the Q Laser?
The Q Laser is a light-delivering device, handheld, rechargeable, that is for lay people and professionals, that works at the cell level of the body to restore energy. Since the body is all composed of cells and the cells are composed of atoms, it's good for any and everything in the body. It is especially beneficial for injuries. It will reduce swelling and inflammation before your eyes. Literally, you can have a sprained ankle and fly the laser, and within 30 minutes you can see that the swelling in the ankle has been reduced. Since all disease is inflammatory, you can assume that same process is working if you have some type of intestinal problem. We have pictures of using a heat instrument to diagnose the intestinal inflammation. We can show that intestinal inflammation is pretty much gone within 3 minutes using the Q1000 laser. It's the number one tool in your medicine cabinet. I have a saying, never leave home without your laser. I have had 3 serious burns, and each time I had my laser with me, I applied the laser immediately after I had the burn. I never even blistered.
Kate and I don't want to be without ours. We've worked out a special deal with Dr. Lytle for all of our listeners. If you'd like to learn more about how the Q Laser can dramatically improve your health, go to extremehealthradio.com/laser. If you are currently using any hair care products that contain dyes or colorings, these things can be carcinogenic. You see, anything we put on our skin, even in the shower, gets into our bloodstream and causes a toxic overload to our organs over time. That's why we only recommend Morocco Method hair care products, because they're 100% chemical free, 100% organic, raw, vegan, and even wild crafted and picked according to the lunar cycles. Listen to what our guest Anthony Morocco says about foaming agents in the shampoos.
Well, number one with hair care is the sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a foaming agent, which is really carcinogenic, and it's very, very toxic. So that's number one. And so they're so afraid of it. The industry has made 38 different names for it. They've created cocamide, they've created coconut, they've created palm oil. But anything that foams is sodium lauryl sulfate. So I would say that you really need to read your ingredient lists. And if you cannot pronounce the word, it's made in a laboratory.
So would even organic hair care products that foam, would those be damaging as well?
Yes. Organic really today is not what it used to be. So it's just the word. It really, to me, is not reality. If you want a real product, you want to look at wild craft.
As a former hairstylist, I love Anthony's products. If you'd like to have truly healthy and luxurious hair, no matter what your texture, go to extremehealthradio.com/MM for Morocco Method, or see it in our store. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/MM to learn even more.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
And as the lady said, if you guys would like to follow us on Facebook, that's a great way to keep up to date with our shows and our past show archives. We post a lot of those, so there's a lot of shows in the 300-plus show archive that we post on Facebook, so you can check out those and stay up to date with our upcoming shows and all that good stuff. So follow us on Facebook if you want to have lots of great tips on natural healing, natural health, and inspiration to live a better life like that. And this is episode 336. And if you have any questions about those two products, the laser and the Morocco Method, two great products that we use ourselves and love a lot. So if you have any questions about those, you can always email me and ask me and let me know. And today we are with Liana Werner-Gray, episode 336. Let's see, we have a couple different directions we could go, because we have a listener question in the chat room about gut health and improving gut health with bone broth and things like that. But Liana, I think I want to ask you if you could share a little bit about your story and your tumor and how you healed from that, because I think people would like to know that.
Okay, yeah. So basically, one day something just popped in my throat, and it was quite big and it hurt a lot. And so I ended up going to the hospital, and I got a biopsy, which made it worse. They put a big needle right into the lump and took a piece of it out, and then results came back, and they said I had a pre-cancerous tumor the size of a golf ball in my lymphatic system, and that it could blow up into cancer and spread throughout my body, or they could just do surgery and just remove it. And at that point, conventional medicine just did not resonate with me, and because of my upbringing in outback Australia with Aboriginal people, I knew, okay, I have a chance to heal this naturally, and I should go back to my roots, and I should go back to nature. So that's what I decided to do. So I said thank you very much to the hospital, and I walked out and, never went back there. And I immediately, I moved out of a high-rise apartment that I was living in Brisbane City, and I moved to a ground-level home that had trees, and it was surrounded by nature. And I basically just started to ground myself, and then I started to put nutrition back into my body. So I started having soups, and I was juicing twice or even 3 times a day, and I started to eat a lot more whole foods that came right from earth, and I cut out the junk foods, and that's when I started to create my own original recipes that are now in the Earth Diet book. And then, as well as the eating, I also did natural treatments. So because my digestive system was so ruined at that point from all the junk foods, I was really bloated, and my digestive system was not working well at all. So every other day I was having a colonic, and then in between those days I was having a coffee enema. So that was helping to stimulate my digestive system and get that working again, as well as cleansing my liver. And then I also drank bentonite clay every single day, and I bathed in bentonite clay once a week, and I also put it on my tumor so it could start drawing out toxins. And bentonite clay is such an amazing gift that Earth has given us, and I do recommend, everyone to have bentonite clay on a daily basis, even if they're not healing from a life-threatening thing that I was dealing with. But bentonite clay is volcanic ash, and so it's taken, like 1 million years for this to naturally occur here on Earth. And the people that do manufacture it, they really believe that bentonite clay is here for our healing for the next 1,000 or 1,500 years. And what it does is absorb all the heavy metals and toxins, parasites and worms, because we are going through that detox phase right now. And that's what I had to do when I was healing, was to detox my body from all the poisons and the toxins. And so then it's like, okay, where are all these toxins going? Are they going to be, flushed in our water system and into the ocean? And so this is where bentonite clay comes in. So I was drinking that every day so that it could absorb the toxins and lock them into their antibodies. And then the clay kind of keeps them in their antibodies, so it's not spreading like toxins out into the environment, into the air. So bentonite clay, I was doing that every day. And also I was having an Epsom salts bath once a week as well to really detox my body and flush it out. And then I did things like yoga, meditation, reflexology, and just really allowed myself to relax and also to focus like where I wanted to go with my life and what I was going to do. Because I was living a junk food life for so long. So it was like, okay, so who am I now and where am I going to direct my focus?
So interesting.
Wow. Liana, real quick to clarify, when you did the bentonite clay internally, how did you take it? What would you suggest? How do people get that in? Because we take it, it's kind of gritty. We'll throw it in a smoothie or something like that. But do you have any other recommendations for a good way to get that in?
Yeah, I mean, it does taste like kind of like neutral or taste like dirt. When some people first have it, they say, wow, like I really am drinking the earth. So, I mean, I just have it in water and I mix a teaspoon in a cup of water and I use wooden spoon rather than metal because the metal will change the frequency of it. So that's how I recommend people take it. But yeah, if people don't like the taste, if they really just hate the taste, then, put it in a smoothie or something like that. But having it in water is the best because it gives us the best effects. And I, just get it down. It's part of our medicine. And, same with juice. When people first start juicing, they may not like it, but it's helping the body be so nourished. And eventually people's taste buds will change anyway, and, it might be more enjoyable. But I actually really do enjoy the taste of bentonite clay more so than wheatgrass.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's kind of funny how that shift happens, doesn't it? Things you never think that you'd actually enjoy, you start craving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's when we know transformation has really occurred.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
That's hilarious. So how old were you when all this happened, and did you get a lot of pressure from the doctors in your family to go conventional?
I was 21 when this happened, so I was quite young.
Wow.
And my family, I mean, they didn't really pressure me, actually. I mean, my mom just had a conversation with me. She's like, are you sure? You sure you want to go down this natural route? Like, are you sure you don't want to do conventional things? I'm a little bit worried. And I just said to her, Mom, I really don't believe in that route. I really believe in natural. And that was the end of it. And my mom just really believed in me as well as my family because I had confidence and they had confidence in me. So they knew that, I was going to heal from it and that I was going to get better.
That's a big one, big one, because a lot of people get pressure from their friends and family. I shared this on our show a lot. I had a friend that I graduated high school with, a beautiful girl, and she was diagnosed with colon cancer a few years ago. And I remember talking to her on the phone because she knew what I did, and she was asking for some tips and ideas and things. And she was getting conventional treatments and cancer, chemotherapy and radiation and all that. And I said, is there any openness of your family and friends and doctors to try perhaps just anything natural while you're doing the chemo? And she said to me, I couldn't not take chemo because my parents would kill me. And that never got out of my psyche, and she ended up passing away.
And it killed her.
Yeah, and it killed her. But Oh, it's sad, isn't it?
It is sad. Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, chemo, radiation, I only recommend people do that if they really believe it's going to work for them, because then, then they have the power of the mind and the placebo effect, so they have more of a chance. But if someone believes that chemo and radiation is not going to work, but they still go into it because of the pressure from their friends and family, I mean, that's a disaster. So people really, I mean, I can understand the pressure of friends and family, I really can, but I mean, those people need to surround themselves with more people like us, so we can give them hope and show them, here are people who have done it naturally. But even if people are doing chemo radiation, I mean, you're right, Justin, like they can still do things that are natural. And one thing we know for sure is that when we have nutrition every single day, that it boosts our immune system and we can't help but feel better. So if someone's doing chemo, they should absolutely be having juice every day and eating whole foods, because at least that will balance out, the effects of the chemo.
Yeah, I think what you said there is massive, not just about eating really, really good and high nutritional foods during the time that people are getting chemos, but surrounding yourself with people who are like-minded as you are, depending on whatever direction someone decides to go. How did you know when you were, 21 years old and you were diagnosed with this thing? You said you moved to a house in Brisbane that was a grounded house, like a one-level story house. And how did you know about like bentonite clay and grounding and EMFs and all this stuff when you weren't really into it before?
Well, I did grow up with Aboriginal people from 5 years old, and so from a very young age, I did learn about nature, and I knew the fundamental laws of nature and how to survive from the land and how to appreciate the land. And I watched my Aboriginal elders be healthy, and they would eat from the earth, and they had very lean bodies, and they were healthy. There was no such thing as cancer. And so that did plant the seed in me from a young age. And then when I was 17, I actually read Dr. Caldwell's book, The Only Answer to Cancer. And in that book, I learned that people that had cancer were actually healing themselves naturally using all these natural remedies like the bentonite clay and like colonics and things like that. So I learned at that point. And then so when I was 21, when it happened, I already had all this education from when I was younger, from reading that book and then with the Aboriginal people. And so that's where I got it from. So I was very lucky in that sense to know about it, because a lot of people don't know about it. They get diagnosed, and the most popular route is to go the conventional route, the chemo, the radiation, but I knew the alternative. And so that's why I'm so passionate about, being on this radio show and going out there to events and speaking on other radio shows, just so people know that they have options.
Yeah, that's our biggest thing, is just letting people know they have options. I mean, it's such a huge thing, because and I think in today's world, people are starting to know more about these options because of Facebook and social media and Twitter, and because I'm not really sure, but I think that less and less people are watching the news, and less people are sort of stuck in these old paradigms, and these options are getting out, which is really cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's good to have options, and yeah, it's it just makes sense, right, to give people different options.
Yeah.
We had a listener question in the chat room, but we're unable to find it right now because we can't scroll up. But
it cut me out.
It had something to do with.
I generally know what it was.
Healing digestive issues. Is
yes,
that correct?
there was a guest asking. They said that unfortunately they had a really bad skin condition or reaction and went into the hospital to get it treated and were put on major antibiotics for a few days. Anyway, now that they've been out of the hospital, the skin stuff is still, the infection's still a little bit there, but they're nauseous and they can't figure out why that still might be the case. And they want to know if that's, in your opinion, a gut issue. When we take an antibiotic, obviously it disturbs the flora in the gut. How would you suggest this person to start out? They've tried ginger and, natural things like that, but nothing seems to be helping the nausea. Do you know what could be causing that?
Well, I mean, if we could put it to the gut, just like a lot of health issues do stem from the gut. And so they've tried ginger, so that's interesting. That was the first thing I was going to recommend, because ginger it's a natural pain reliever and natural anti-inflammatory. And also with the Indigenous beliefs, ginger actually looks like a digestive system, and it reflects like a very strong, healthy digestive system. So I would just recommend that person to have ginger tea every single day, and also to just make sure they're not eating any processed foods, any foods that are really destroying the gut or like having the gut work extra hard to digest. So you want to stay away from all those heavy foods. So stay away from things like refined sugar, obviously refined flours, stay away from gluten, and just make sure you're getting a lot of like high vibe, really light foods like salads and raw foods and whole foods like an avocado. You could eat a tomato, like any whole foods that you enjoy eating, to have that. And just some really healing soups. And I'd recommend that you make the soups from scratch, because then that way you're putting a lot of your energy and intention into the soup, and you're saying, I'm going to make this soup and then I'm going to eat it so that it can help my gut and really help heal my body.
Yeah, it's really great. They mentioned in the chat room that they are feeling a bit better when they do juicing and things like that. So I think the key that we'd all probably agree on is to stick with it and not give up, because stuff takes a while. You might not see, immediate results. And I know in my own gut and things just getting flushed out of my system, it can take quite a while.
Yeah, it does take a while. And that's a good thing to remember, is that, it doesn't happen like immediately. I mean, that relief happens immediately. Like, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm going to stick to being healthy for the rest of my life. Then it's a process of going back and forth until really your body is not craving junk foods anymore. And yeah, just sticking to it. I mean, some people, it's like, okay, well, how many years did you eat gluten for, or junk foods? And some people will say 10, 20 years. And I say, okay, well, how long have you been on the natural foods for? And they'll say like 3 months or 6 months. It's like, okay, well, you have to keep going for at least half the amount of time that you spent eating the junk foods. So you got to stick with it. I mean, I've been 6 years on the Earth diet now, and it definitely is a process. And there's still things that I'll be healing for the rest of my life, and just maintaining my health. So it's a lifelong process for sure.
I agree. It was really do you want me to go ahead?
No.
Yeah, really quick. There was a follow-up comment by this guest that said, also, as far as the mindset, how does one overcome family members telling you just need to eat or you'll kill yourself, you need to take medications and drugs, and just they want to know, how do you trust your gut? Because this person's gut is telling them to fast, and yet family members aren't okay with that.
Okay, right. Well, that's really awesome that you know that what you have to do. So you're right, because you're trusting your intuitions and you know what's best. How can anyone else know what's best for you other than yourself?
Right.
And so, I mean, the medications one is just hilarious, and we can laugh at that, because how can a medication, I mean, unless you believe in it, and it sounds like you don't, so unless you believe in the medication, how can it provide your body with healing? I mean, if it doesn't have nutrition, then obviously you're going to get that from your foods more than the medication. So what I found is you just have to be confident with your family and just say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to beat this. I've got a really powerful, awesome community that are supporting me, and I believe in this route. And your family members and friends, they just don't show them any doubt for a little while. Just get yourself better and get yourself feeling strong and healthy, and then they'll start to see that it's working. And when they start to see that it's working, they won't doubt you as much.
Yeah, great advice. When we come back from the break, I want to talk a little bit more about mindset, because that's a big thing.
Mindset's huge.
Having the confidence and having the mindset that you're going to make a decision and you're going to be doing these things, really, really key. And I presume that you deal a lot with that. So I want to dive a little bit more into that, and we'll talk more about the Earth Diet with Liana Werner-Gray. This is episode 336. And we do broadcast this week, 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. If you guys would like to join us and listen to the live show at extremehealthradio.com/live. And we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress, and stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong.
All free shows, all the time, on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Well, there's nothing like a little water, some bone broth, and one date for breakfast. How about that?
We'd make Liana proud.
The bone broth was to help heal the gut. That was really good.
Oh, that was so good. We've been drinking bowls of broth for breakfast the last week, and it's tasty.
Oh, it's great.
But that date, you know what? That's my non-negotiable. Every day I have a date. I have about 4 dates. I don't know if that's too much, but man, are they good.
I know. She got me excited about dates.
I know.
So
I know.
I had to have
we both ran out and got one.
Oh my gosh. So I hope you guys are enjoying this show. This is episode 336, and what we'll do is we will put the links to everything that we talk about on today's show on episode 336. So if you want to do that, it's extremehealthradio.com/336. And if you sign up to our newsletter too, we will instantly send you a really great ebook. It's a really fascinating guy written by John Barron, and it sells for $21 over at Amazon, but we will send it to you for free just for signing up. So it's got all kinds of cutting edge natural healing protocols in there, so like some of the things that Liana talked about earlier. So Liana, I wanted to talk a little bit about this guy's question in the chat room. Really interesting. I think that this is a big issue for a lot of people when they have, some sort of illness that they're trying to overcome and they want to choose natural things. How do people build that confidence, like you were talking about, build that mindset that's ripe with intention? How do they do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And this morning on my Hay House radio show, the whole segment was actually on healthy mindset. And so had some great conversation around that. And basically, for starters, to build confidence, just to know, I always say the only thing that I really know for sure is that when we put nutrition into our body every single day, we can't help but feel better because we nourish our body with so much vitamins and minerals and nutrients. And so with the healthy mindset with that is people can just know, okay, well, I'm taking care of my body. I'm nourishing my body every day. I'm having this fresh juice, or I'm having a herbal tea or a soup or a salad or something raw, something whole. And so, they could say, affirm to themselves, I am nourishing my body, I'm putting so much nutrients into my body. People could educate themselves on, say, for example, a lemon. So if they have the lemon water, they could say, wow, look how much vitamin C I'm getting from this drink right now. Look how many antioxidants I'm getting. This food is flushing all the toxins out of my system, and I'm really replacing my cells with new healthy cells. I'm building a brand new body. I'm getting rid of the old. I'm living in a new chapter of my life, and I'm on the health path. So those are some affirmations that people could be thinking as they're nourishing their body that will really help. And like anything we do over time, it does get easier and easier, and our brain will naturally be in a more positive state.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the idea of building disciplines is a good thing, and building disciplines that are disciplines that you can actually keep. Because a lot of people say, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds this month or in 2 months, and it's just something that they could never do. But if you build disciplines that you do, you'll never lie to yourself. It seems like you'll carry out those actions that will facilitate you completing your goal, and that will build self-respect and self-esteem, and then you'll sort of get the snowball going.
Yeah, the snowball, exactly. And, usually the first few steps can be a little difficult because we're getting out of old habits and we're changing an old life, and, we're opening a new chapter. And so it is a process, but it does become more natural and easy over time.
So your book, The Earth Diet, is that available right now?
It is available right now. It actually came out 2 days ago.
Nice.
And yay! So we launched that in New York City, and it's available in Barnes & Noble, and it's also available on Amazon, and it's also available on theearthdiet.com. And this is probably a good time to talk about the Extreme Health book deal that we have going on right now. And with that, if people use the coupon code Extreme Health and go to theearthdiet.com, they can order the book deal, which gets a signed copy of the new book. And then I'm also doing 3 online live webinars because I find people get the book and then they have a lot of questions. So I wanted to give people an opportunity to have their questions answered live on the webinar. So I'm going to be doing 3 classes, and then they also get a downloadable guide of how they can save money while being healthy, because that's something that comes up a lot. Is people ask, how can I possibly afford this, or what are some money saving tips? And eating healthy does not have to be expensive, but people think it really does. And I've had to live on a shoestring budget at times, and so I've really learned how to be creative with health and how to save money with health. So I put together a downloadable guide that people get also, and then people also get my iTunes audio, 101 weight loss tips and how to keep that weight loss off forever. So that's the Earth Diet book deal that's happening right now. And if they use your code Extreme Health, it's $49.95, and they save over $500 on that deal, which is pretty epic.
Wow. That's super cool. And so those webinars that you're giving for people, are people able to save those, or do those need to be watched live, or how does that work?
Yeah, they can actually be downloaded after. So if people miss the class, or if they want to go back and watch it, they can download it to their computer and they'll have that forever. That's
so cool. Gosh, did you think that when you were 21 years old with this diagnosis that you would be doing this? This is insane.
Not really. I mean, I knew that I was doing it to save my own life. And then when I healed myself, I was like, wow, I really want to help others heal, and I want to share the story so people know what's possible. So it wasn't until after my healing that I knew that I could really bring this to the world in a big way and teach people about natural lifestyle. But yeah, I did start to save my own life. Yeah.
That's interesting. So fast. So we have another question in the chat room about acupuncture. What are your thoughts about acupuncture? This guest says that they did acupuncture a couple days ago, didn't feel really well afterwards, and then they asked any thoughts what acupuncture does in your body and why you feel like vomiting afterwards. I've never had that.
That's a good one.
I've heard that a couple times, and it could be that toxins are being released from the body, especially if this person was really tense or stressed, or perhaps carrying excess weight, because putting those needles into the body can really stir things up and release toxins. So that might be why you're feeling like a bit nausea, a bit like you want to vomit, because the toxins are swirling around, coming out. But it has been used in Chinese medicine for a long time and can be really positive. And just to share my own experience, I was really into acupuncture when I was younger, and it is something I did incorporate more after I healed myself, because I was resonating with it. I was craving it. My body enjoyed it. But I have not had acupuncture done for a couple years, and it's simply because my body, when I think about getting the needles in my body just kind of tenses up. It doesn't want that experience, whereas my body does want to have a hot tub, or it does want to go in the sauna. So that's what I'm going to choose to detox from my system. So perhaps you just don't resonate with acupuncture, or you do. So that's what I would say on that.
That's great thoughts. Thanks, Liana.
Yeah, it's fascinating how acupuncture works, because you're opening up all the meridian lines, and it's similar to Qigong, and then it gets into the teeth. Did you ever have any teeth issues or cavities? Because we're finding a lot of people with cancer or tumors, things like that, have pre-existing oral pathology issues.
Right. I was very lucky that I did not get any teeth issues from eating the junk foods for 5 years, but I did start off the beginning of my life really healthy, thanks to my natural parents and the Indigenous influence. So I did not, but I do recommend people to drink the bentonite clay. That can definitely help, and swish it around the mouth, and also do oil pulling. And there's a recipe in the Earth Diet book for a natural toothpaste, which is coconut oil and bentonite clay, which is extremely nourishing for the teeth and the gums. So just stay away from any chemicals in the mouth.
Wow, interesting.
Great. I never heard that one before.
Your parents must have just flipped out when you were eating all those junk foods for so long, with being natural people.
Well, they didn't know. I kept it a secret, and that's what a lot of junk food addicts do, is we don't tell people around us that we're eating all this junk food. So nobody had any idea that I was eating junk foods for that amount of years.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
A closet junk food.
I know. Sneaking ding-dongs in your closet, yeah.
I'm just curious, Liana, do you have a favorite recipe from this book that you just get so excited? That's something that you hadn't really thought of before this book came to life?
Yeah, my favorite is definitely the cheesecake, because, I never liked cheesecake my whole life. I thought it just tasted really weird, and when I created the Earth Diet cheesecake, it's whipped up cashews with some lemon, coconut oil, and some maple syrup. I mean, it's just so divine. I'm really surprised that I love it so much. But it's incredible. And everyone who tries it is just amazed by how amazing it is and how healthy it is. And, the Vitamix makes it so creamy. And also, if people do want to get a Vitamix, I do have a discount for it at theearthdiet.com.
Oh, great.
Oh, awesome.
Great.
That's so cool. So where do they go for that? In your shop page?
Yeah, they just go to the Earth Diet shop page. Exactly.
Awesome.
We had another recipe question really quick in the chat room. What fast soup recipe do you enjoy doing the most?
Oh.
Fast soup recipe. Well, I just love to put water in the pot, and then just whatever I have around, just add some vegetables to it and some spices. So things like celery, some kale, some carrot, and then perhaps some potato, and then I love to add some real salt, and then some pepper and some thyme, some rosemary, some turmeric, whatever spices I have on hand, and whatever my body is really telling me, okay, this will be good for you right now.
Love it.
Love it. That. And that was interesting what you said about the bentonite clay and the coconut oil for brushing your teeth. Do you have any other sort of lifestyle things like that in this book? I'm sure you do, natural deodorants or soaps or things like that.
Exactly, yes. Well, this book, Hay House did tagline it, Your Complete Guide to Living Using Earth's Natural Ingredients. So it is a complete guide. It's not just about food. And so, ladies, for mascara, what we can do is we can get charcoal, and we mix that charcoal with a bit of beeswax and coconut oil, just those 3 ingredients, and we have ourselves some amazing natural mascara that not only makes our eyelashes longer and darker, but also is nourishing our eyelashes with vitamins, so we can know we're taking care of our eyelashes while also looking beautiful. So that's a really cool one as well.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, that might not just be for the ladies these days. There's a lot of guys are doing this kind of stuff.
Tomorrow I see you with these giant black luscious lashes across the desk.
No, but that's really cool. So beeswax, coconut oil, and charcoal.
Wow.
Yeah, and if people want brown, they can use cacao powder instead of the charcoal.
Wow, isn't that amazing?
The things that are on the earth, it makes so much sense that we just haven't put this all together. I mean, we probably used to back in the day if people ever wore mascara, I'm not sure, but we've got so far removed from the root, so we don't even think of these things as other uses other than eating.
I know, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and that's why it's so exciting. We are going back to the earth now, we're going back to the roots, and we're moving away from that lifestyle of we have to work really hard, and we have to work really long hours, and we have to stress out, and we have to feel tired, and it's no, now we're living in this new age where we get to be healthy, we get to feel relaxed, we get to feel active, proactive, healthy, and enjoy the best earth foods.
That's awesome. It's cool. I'm glad your book is more than just food, because that's really cool and includes some sort of lifestyle things. I'm sure there's a lot of to do with mindset in there as well.
There is a lot to do with mindset, exactly. Nice. And one of them is don't let stress inhibit your body for too long. And that's something that Bruce Lipton says, and Eckhart Tolle, and also Drew Canole, who was my guest on the Hay House radio show this morning. It's about, if stress hits us, we just have to look at it and find a way to get rid of it as soon as possible and not let it reside in our body, because if stress resides in our body for too long, that's what creates illness and disease.
Yeah, so stress is just stress and oral pathology. I think stress is just the number one cause of everything.
Yeah, stress is really not an option anymore, and it is a process. It's definitely a challenge for every single human that's on this planet, because there's so many things we could stress about, and so we just all have to do our best just to let that stress go through eating nourishing foods, through meditation, through exercise, all the healthy things that we can do to get rid of the stress.
Simple stuff, right? I mean, this is stuff that's kindergarten grade level stuff, but somehow we get away from it. It's so strange.
So sad.
We have a couple of people in the chat room talking about enemas and wondering how often you think it's safe to do enemas. And I guess there's a difference between your health. If someone's battling cancer, it might be a different number than someone who is relatively healthy. But how many times a day do you think it's safe to do enemas?
Well, that is a great question and a great conversation, because people that are sick or do have cancer, it's recommended, every other day or every day, because they are in that extreme state and they do need to heal themselves quickly. So it really does differ for each person. I mean, I haven't had one since I healed my body, which, was 6 years ago. So although my body is actually starting to crave it, in the last 6 months I've had that thought come into my body of I could use a coffee enema. I could really enjoy that. So it is about going within and trusting your intuition and knowing, what's too much or what's not enough. And so your body will tell you, especially if you have cancer, I could use a coffee enema every single day. And, Gerson therapy recommends having a coffee enema every day or even multiple times a day if you do have cancer.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that, do multiple enemas per day if they have cancer, like you just said on Gerson. I'm not sure if I'm sure you know this person because she's Australian as well, but what is her name? The wellness warrior?
Jessica Anscoff.
Jessica Anscoff, yeah. She was battling some sort of cancer as well, and she did multiple enemas per day. The Gerson therapy is having some pretty good success with that.
Yeah, they do have good success with that, and that's how we know, it's working. We look at other people's results, and, it makes sense because people with cancer, they need that help with the stimulation in the digestive system and to cleanse everything out.
That's so cool. I'm so glad that you put together this book. So it's got recipes.
So excited.
What are some of the different sections in the books just to kind of whet people's appetite?
Well, the different sections, it starts with some testimonials, and then I've dedicated the book to every human being who wants to live a healthier life. So if that's you, then I wrote this book for you. Then it starts with my introduction, and a quote from Meryl Streep that sums it all up is, "I want to feel my life while I'm in it." amazing. That's something I was not doing when I was addicted to junk foods. I was not feeling my life while I was in it. I was not enjoying it. I really did not enjoy living. And so now my life is more fulfilled and rich than ever. And then the book has like the Earth Diet basics. So, you know, the staples and then the principles, and it describes whole foods. It describes raw foods. It's got a list of do and don't eat. It's got also a list in here of all the harsh chemicals and poisons to stay away from. So I call these the not acceptable ingredients. So if you find them in your skincare or household or food products, you know, stay away from them, because the body really just cannot digest it, and it really just stresses the body out. Then also I have a self-healing guide with the Earth Diet, so people that are healing from any type of disease or cancer. And there's a list of conditions in here that are most common that are being reversed or even just helped with the Earth Diet. And it's anything from acne to addiction, depression, inflammation, eczema, cancer, and diabetes. And then we've got, like a lot of recipes in here for household, for skincare, and for food. And of course, the most exciting part in the book for me is the dessert section.
I love that.
You're speaking our language.
Yeah.
Wow, no stone unturned in this book. How many pages is it?
It's 224 pages, and originally I did want to have a lot more things in the book, but, you know, we had to, you know, Hay House cut me off at some point. But that's why I created the earthdiet.com/book gift, and on that page has everything that I was not able to fit into the book.
Oh, awesome. Book gift. Okay. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. So you're going to be talking about and traveling. I think when we were met in person up in LA, you said you're going to be traveling around to a bunch of different countries talking about the Earth Diet.
Yes, I've started my 12-month global tour, so I'll be traveling at least 12 months, and then we'll see if if I want to extend it, which I probably will, because I love traveling. I've been to 33 countries so far, and I'll be going to Australia for January and February, because the book will be launching there then, and then in March I'll be in the UK and speaking at some events there, and then in April I'll be back in the USA to tour around the rest of USA, and also some Ireland and India is also on the radar.
That is so cool.
My gosh.
Wow. And so do you miss your family? Is your whole family over in Australia still?
Yes, they are in Australia, and, you know, we talk often, and so I am looking forward to seeing them in January and February, because it has been a while.
Yeah. So are they still in Alice Springs, or are they anywhere close to the coast?
I have some family in Alice Springs, and also some in Brisbane and some in Perth.
Wow, Alice Springs, that's a wild place, isn't it?
It is. It's so wild. I recommend everyone go there and check it out. It's really tourist friendly, and, you know, it's in the middle of Australia in the outback, and it's such a beautiful natural land, and it's extremely peaceful. As soon as you get off the plane, you will just feel the magnetic energy that runs through that place. It's really magical.
Are they letting people hike up on the Uluru or whatever that Ayers Rock is? Are they letting people hike up that?
They are not. No, the Aboriginals won the rights to that a few years ago, and so people are no longer allowed to climb it. You know, they said they didn't want people to climb such a sacred thing, and people were starting to kind of wear it out, and it was like having tracks up Uluru. I was able to climb it twice in my life, so I'm really grateful for that experience, and it's really magical to be connected to that part of the earth.
Yeah, it seems like a really, really. It seems to me when I look at a place like that, it seems to me like it would be very similar. So I've never been here. Where's that place?
Sedona, Arizona.
Sedona, Arizona. Yeah,
that's what came into my brain too.
I don't know. I'm sure it's magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, same kind of vibe. And also Byron Bay in Australia has a similar vibe. There's a magnetic belt that runs through the earth, and it goes through Alice Springs and goes through Byron Bay and also other places. I think it might be in America. I think it does run through the California area, that kind of energy.
Yeah, I've heard it somewhere around 33 degrees or something like that. There's a bunch of different ones, but that explains all the hippies in Byron Bay.
Yeah, right?
It does, yeah.
I love that.
All the earth people.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Liana, for being on and taking time out of your day for doing this. It's totally a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Justin and Kate, for having me on. I love Extreme Health Radio, and yeah, it was such a pleasure to be here today and have this conversation. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
You.
Hang on the line really quickly, and we're going to close out our live show. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us on the live show at extremehealthradio.com/live. And if you guys want to check out her book, I believe the book or the actual link is theearthdiet.com/book deal. And you can enter the coupon code Extreme Health if you're interested in checking out her book, which I would highly recommend. It sounds amazing. It sounds like a really cool reference guide, something that you can actually refer to often for inspiration and different tips.
And it sounds like you're excited about the mascara section, which
worries
worries me a little bit.
I'm not even a girl, and I want to do the mascara.
No judgment. No judgment here.
No judgment. So head on over there and check that out if you are interested. And we will be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time on extremehealthradio.com/live for our Free for All Friday show. So make sure to check that out. And Kirsty says mahalo, everyone. And we say mahalo right back at you. And we appreciate it so much. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
Awesome. All right. Thanks,
Liana.
guys.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so that was a really interesting show with Liana Werner-Gray, wasn't it?
She is so encouraging. She's so encouraging. You just feel like you could take on the world. I love her voice.
I know, right?
Yeah, isn't she just cool?
You like her accent?
She's just cool. I love the accent.
Yeah, very, very fascinating. We've got a lot to talk about in this particular show, so we're going to break down some of the things that she's talked about. Great person. I love what she's doing. So we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back, and we've got some really keen insight into some of the things she was saying. So we'll be right back right after this. The history of heat therapy dates back over 2,400 years, and it was Hippocrates who said, "Give me the power to produce fever, and I will cure all disease." This FDA-approved medical device called the Biomat is a mat that you can lay on, read on, sleep on, do yoga on, sit on, and it can be used on office chairs, massage tables, and the like to help the body heal itself. It's inlaid with 30 pounds of healing crystals using amethyst and a rare black tourmaline, producing negative ions in a healing electrical field. These healing crystals help to restore cellular health by replacing electrons to the atoms, as well as penetrating deep into the body by 4 to 6 inches. What can the Biomat do for you? It'll improve your skin, burns as many calories as if you went jogging for 30 minutes. It improves the immune system by up to 40% or more, reduces stress and fatigue, removes toxins, lowers cholesterol, relieves pain, revitalizes cellular metabolism. It improves cell channels to deliver nutrients and oxygen to every one of your cells. It activates over 3,000 enzymes. And even a Harvard medical study showed cancer cells die at over 42 degrees Celsius. It reduces stress hormones by up to 78%. It allows your body to produce heat shock proteins, which increases endorphins, NK cells, T cells, and lymphocytes. It's very, very low EMF, and it's got a 17-layer technology. Dr. Mark Serkis is the director of the International Medical Veritas Association. Explain to us more about these biomats.
These biomats are these far infrared mattresses. You lay on them, or you sleep on them, or both. You do very heavy treatments during the day, and at night you sleep at just a nice comfortable temperature. These biomats are like these love machines, comfort machines, and healing machines, because what they do is they just radiate out light, far infrared light, and you can radiate yourself all night long while you're sleeping when you're not doing anything else. And what happens is this light penetrates the body and turns to heat. And the first thing that happens when you bring your core body temperature up 1 degree is your immune system strength increases by 40-50%. They feel when you lay down on them, you guys know, you have one. So it's like the feeling is so good. It's like being in the cuddling with a lover, your wife or husband. It's just warmth and comfort.
How are you using biomats for patients in your clinics?
The cancer treatment using heat is very aggressive, meaning during the day, you sandwich yourself in between 2 of them, turn it on to high heat, and bake the cancer. The cancer will die before you will. No, this is, you can go to England and spend $20,000 and use microwave a cancer out of existence. These biomats basically do the same thing. Radiation therapy for cancer is really a solid idea. Unfortunately, oncologists use the wrong radiation. They use radiation that kills you. This Biomat uses radiation that can save your life and make your life more comfortable, keep you warm in the cold, and help take care of your kids and all. The list doesn't end.
Yeah, because isn't there some sort of temperature at which cancer cells will start dying?
Right, and it's below the temperature that human cells will die.
So you really like this Biomat far infrared technology, don't you?
But it's strengthened me. Well, now the kids are addicted to it. They fight on who's going to sleep on it at night. And it not only changed my life, but it changed my medical practice and my books. This is a great machine for anybody who lives in the cold during the winter. Instead of heating a big house, you just heat yourself. Bottom line, it brings good feelings. Just lay on this Biomat, and it gives the strength back.
I can attest to that indeed. Kate and I love ours, and we think you will too. Learn more about these amazing biomats at extremehealthradio.com/biomat. Or you can check them out in our store as well. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/biomat.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Maggie just can't get enough bone broth, can she?
Oh my gosh, she's a freak about the bone broth.
A little bit crazy.
A little bit nuts. She gets this crazy evil look in her eye.
Bone broth is good, though.
It is. I could see why. I'm addicted.
Yeah, I like this stuff a lot. I'm really resonating with it, and I think doing it in the morning first thing on an empty stomach has been helping.
I agree. We've done it for just a few days now, but it feels like it's like a warm cup of tea if you can just kind of recalibrate your thinking,
And just tell yourself it's not tea.
And tell yourself that it's more like a cup of tea, that it's not weird to drink soup for breakfast,
Yeah, right. No. I love it. It's so
I do
good.
too.
I wonder if bone broth is on the Earth diet. I'm sure it is.
Oh, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Or compatible with the Earth diet.
What a story, huh? Liana Werner-Gray. So, she was the one that actually put us in contact with Dr. Caldwell.
Caldwell, yep.
He was episode 114, I think.
Gosh, he was great, wasn't he?
Talk about an inspirational dude.
I know.
He was cool.
He was, I don't know, he lit a fire under my pants, man.
Yeah, he was really good.
And then, he invited us to be on his show, which was so nice.
That's right. We were on his show. That was really cool.
I think that might have been our first interview that someone asked us to be on as guests.
I know,
that was
right?
really, it's always interesting to be in the other seat.
Yeah.
Like Liana must think that with her show on Hay House, which I can't wait to start listening to, but she must think that a lot, like, because she's so used to being interviewed herself. It must be, just total turn of the tables. It must be really neat. I bet people like it. It's just different.
That's cool. She gave away all that stuff today. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Anytime Drew Canoli enters the room, someone's getting something for free.
Isn't that true?
Right?
What a neat thing to be known for, huh?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with Liana, though. I mean, there's nothing better than feeling like you're able to give things away. That is so cool.
What did she say? That it was someone with osteoporosis? Is that what it was?
Today, yeah.
Yeah, that's on hayhouseradio.com, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time every Thursday. And I think you can just listen live, much the same way you do on our show. You can listen live right on their website, and that's when her show starts, 11 a.m. Eastern every Thursday. Pretty
very
cool.
I'm going to start checking that out.
Liana Werner-Gray, she's awesome.
Yay. Well, is that during our show?
8 a.m. Well, actually, no, because our show we're going to be going down to Mondays and and Fridays.
That's right. So I can catch your show on Thursday.
Yeah. So
cool.
That's what's so cool about the internet these days is that you could actually on your smartphone connect through the internet to her hayhouseradio.com, listen live, or even our show too if you're driving along to work or something, and you can listen live through your smartphone and plug your smartphone into your car speakers.
Wow.
Through the dashboard, and you're good to go.
Well, you know what I've heard? I think you and I have talked about this. The new cars coming out have podcast stations available.
Yeah, Stitcher and
isn't that cool?
That is awesome because there's nothing that makes me happier than to see traditional old media die. Because look at what old media has done to our culture. Look at the mind manipulation that's been happening to the entire planet through
Right.
Old media. And
You're right.
anything that pushes us forward and pushes this new media into circulation is awesome. Super cool.
I would agree with the exception of some written books. I love the written books, and I don't like how those are going away. It's, the Kindle came on, and, Kindle is from Fahrenheit 4, what's that book called? 451?
Fahrenheit Kindle. No, Fahrenheit 451.
The book. Is that what it's called?
Ray Bradbury.
Yeah. And how all the books were being burned as Kindle, and it's just so funny to me,
Yeah, I agree with you. I love regular
books.
I love regular old books.
That's one media that I think it could be skewed, and I think it could be written not in truth, and I think there's always that possibility, but I don't like to see that old media go away. I love it.
Well, think about this. If there was some sort of problem with the electrical grid or something happened where, it
wiped out everything.
It wiped out everything, a solar flare or the Earth's magnetic poles change and all the magnetic electricity throughout the Earth just went away and the grid was gone. What would happen to, books like that? Because they're all electronic these days. So they'd just be gone unless you had physical copies.
Right. Yeah, it's good to have documented stuff somewhere.
You like regular cookbooks too, like cookbooks like this Earth Diet
I do.
in real physical form.
I like to hold things. It's just, I love it. I resonate a lot more with that. And there's nothing wrong with that either way. If people are into I think the Kindle and things like that are amazing.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, it's definitely got its advantages because you can take, you can store thousands of books on it. It reduces the environmental impact, but then you got the environmental impact of the
EMFs.
Well, of the EMFs, but then what do you do with those Kindles that are old?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Those go into the landfill.
Right.
And so you have that environmental impact, and then you have the EMFs that are produced. So
yeah, you're right. You're right.
I liked what she was saying about mindset and stuff like that because, in her journey, it was interesting because her parents were alternative already. So it makes sense that they would be on board. But a lot of people struggle with, like my friend who passed away from colon cancer, like she did, with family that just does not support you.
And our friend in the chat room mentioning that they live with a family who's just not having it and even pokes fun at them really for wanting to not take the traditional stuff. And a lot of people shake their heads at alternative. They hear the word alternative and they just go into a weird place, They it's just sad they're misinformed or they're uneducated really.
Yeah. They just don't understand how the body works and how indoctrinated they are. When it comes to healing protocols like this, people just don't understand how the body works. And so they think, oh, you're wasting away. You're not eating. You need to eat. And they don't understand,
Yeah.
It's tough.
If people just understood, I mean, as a human being, you think you would have read a couple books in your life, and especially being maybe spiritual or religious books and the Bible and the power of fasting. I mean, that alone is in all the great teachers have fasted. And it's ridiculous to think that somebody could say, oh, you're wasting away. You need to eat when your body is saying, like our friend in the chat room, you need to fast for a while. I mean, people are just so uneducated when they say things like that. They aren't open to the eons of people who have gone before them. There's so many people that have healed themselves and also just, become enlightened through the fact that they weren't eating. So, I mean, it's just a silly thing to say. It's such a blanket statement. I mean,
yeah, and they're not looking to nature either because every animal in nature fasts when they're sick.
Exactly. They know when to back off.
This is cool book, The Earth Diet. Go over and get it. It's extremehealthradio.com/Earth Diet. And then you use the code Extreme Health. And I didn't realize, but she said it actually was $400 or $500 for
I know
with all this other bonus material. But you're going to be getting it for $50.
How cool is that?
Which is pretty cool.
That is a really good deal.
So if you go to extremehealthradio.com/Earth Diet, EARTHDIET, all one word, lowercase, extremehealthradio.com/Earth Diet, enter the code Extreme Health, and then that way you can get all the bonuses. Pretty cool for basically free.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think her products are really great.
I love what she's doing. She's just going around educating people, empowering people. Same thing we're doing.
Yep.
We're
all in it together, as Drew Cannoli would say, and I'm sure Liana would love that.
We're in this together.
We're in this together.
Pretty cool stuff.
I'm going to go eat some bentonite clay.
Are you going to do it in water like she said?
I am. I'm going to do a shot of it.
Hey, are you going to try that mascara?
I am. Are you?
my mid-90s sort of MTV reality TV show days are over with.
But tomorrow is Halloween, so
that's true.
Yeah, I could dress you up as like Kiss or somebody like that.
Kiss.
80s hairband, put some mascara on you and put a big wig.
Gosh. Motley Crue.
No, I am going to try it. I've been on the search for, I use a mascara right now that's actually pretty earth-friendly.
What is it called?
I think it's made by Tarte. I think that's it. And
that's cool.
It's made out of clays and things, so you're not getting the harmful petrochemicals and things like that. But
that's cool.
I'm always about making your own things, and I'm sure that it's, a lot more pure if you know exactly where it's coming from. Then, I have no guarantee what's actually in that unless you see it yourself. So I'm going to try it out. Maybe I'll take a picture of my luscious lashes and post it.
There you go. Let's see. Hay House Radio every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific is Liana Werner-Gray's radio show. And The Earth Diet is her website, and her book is, if you want to get that and get all the details, extremehealthradio.com/Earth Diet with the promo code Extreme Health. And just want to let you know that this show was brought to you by the Bellicon Rebounder. So if you are interested in the Bellicon Rebounder, I think personally it's the best rebounder I've ever seen. It doesn't use springs, which is, a huge advancement, I think, in rebounders, and it sits way higher off the ground.
Right.
And we have the one with the folding legs, and it's the biggest model they have, and I do it every day. I did it before the show today for 25 minutes.
Yeah, you did. And it's great because at least I love the foldable legs because it didn't take up much room in our small area here. So we can just throw it up against the wall, and it's not taking up any extra space. It's
super silent, really light, and just a great high quality machine. extremehealthradio.com/Bellicon. And if you guys would like to support us, there's always our Amazon link. If you want to buy, make your next or any and all purchases through our link on Amazon, that would be a great way to support us. And you guys would obviously be helping keep the show free. So that's a great way. And also, a favor that I would ask you is, if you're unable to support us in any of those ways, two really big things would be if you guys could go over to iTunes, sign in, go over to the iTunes store, type Extreme Health Radio, find our podcast, Extreme Health Radio, all one word, and leave us a review. We'd be so incredibly grateful if you would do that. Lots of people have been doing it lately, and it's been helping a lot. So it helps get the word out. It's a way to say thank you to us that doesn't cost you anything. About 90 seconds. It takes no time at all just to leave a review. You subscribe to it, leave a rating and a review, and that helps us a lot. Which is really weird in today's world.
Right.
So weird, huh?
Isn't it weird?
Yeah, it's very strange. So if you could do that, that would be great. And another free thing that you can do is just share our show on Facebook or
please
Twitter or something like that.
We'd so appreciate it, you guys. It just, I don't know. You never know whose life is in need of that exact thing that you send over. I feel like that happens a lot on Facebook with me, where somebody just hit share and it ended up changing my life. So.
I know, it's cool.
Thank you.
It's cool. So we appreciate so much. Any show that you find on our website that you are interested, that you think your friends would like, please pass that on, and we would just be so grateful. So that's about it, right?
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Another one in a can.
Bentonite clay, here I come.
All right, me too. I'll do it too. Bentonite, bone broth, and dates for breakfast. How's that?
Well, we get more interesting as time passes, don't we?
Oh, my goodness.
I love it.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow on our Free for All Friday show, 9 a.m. Pacific on Friday. So join us for that, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
You stole my line.
Okay. Here we go. Let's do it again. All right, everyone.
We will catch you on the next episode.
There you go.
I took it back.
Hey, everybody. This is Josie, Justin's mum. Don't tell him, but I know he would absolutely be really happy if you would sign up to his free weekly newsletter. And don't forget to share this with all your friends. This is the buzzing bumblebee signing off.
Oh, so good.
Hello.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information in this blog is